In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.
Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Everybody, welcome to What's Up Waco with Erica Boisvert, your local Waco agent. We are going to be getting into some good information about downtown Waco. We will also touch on the real estate market. That's the world I live in. Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Waco with Erica Boisvert, your local real estate agent. Today, Krystal Harper with Harper Insurance Agency is joining me. See, it's not that bad. He's got to edit me more than anybody else. Krystal, hey, what's up?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming by. I was excited to talk to you.
Me too.
I know we have these conversations a lot about insurance and stuff that I know people think it's boring, but it is so important. And sometimes I find myself getting like really turned into like what you're saying and what we need to know. And it's mind blowing the stuff that I don't know about insurance and how to protect myself. And so I was hoping you could share that with some of our What's Up Waco listeners. Specifically, homeowners insurance would be great if you could dig into a little bit about, you know, some of the pros and cons and what to look out for coverage-wise.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, one thing I want to talk about, too, is the rising cost of insurance. I think most people have noticed that lately in their auto and their home and other areas. So, homes have gone up across the board. Replacement costs have gone up, building cost. And so that's raising the cost of insurance as well. Inflation, rate increases. We had some bad weather last year, so they're trying to recoup the cost. So that's affecting the
everybody
client.
got new roofs.
Yeah. So specifically on the homes, an agent, it's good to have an agent, first of all, because they're going to look at the coverages for you and they're going to go over those things, or they should be.
An insurance agent, just to be clear. I'm not going to look at that.
Yeah. When you go online and quote your own insurance, you don't know what you're doing necessarily because you're not an agent. So it's good to have an agent that can do that for you. So making sure you have enough coverage on the house, any additional structures, making sure those are covered. If you've got a pool, maybe some farm exposure, that's a big one.
Farm exposure.
Yes. So if you've got, farm animals, horses, goats, sheep, cows, bees even. That's counted now. So you need to make sure that stuff's covered. If you have any business activity in Airbnb on your property, that's becoming very popular. That needs to be covered. So there's just so many different factors that go into quoting your insurance.
Which is like overwhelming to me, the consumer, going online.
Yes.
I would be like, check. Do you have
enough coverage on your
$5
house?
a year.
Yes. Do you have enough coverage on your house? Liability is a huge issue.
Okay.
If you do have an Airbnb or, farm exposure, you're having people on your property, you want to make sure you're covered if someone gets hurt, or if you've got a tank, a swimming pool, things like that. A higher risk. So just making sure you're covered there too.
Do you find, and this is totally a side note that just popped into my head, but seller coverage while their home is on the market for people walking through, is that a thing?
Yes. So liability would still, anybody on your property, even if they're uninvited,
Okay.
It would cover that if they were to fall or anything like that.
So if somebody was like, you need supplemental insurance while your house is on the market, are they just trying to sell you something, or is that truly something to consider?
I would say your homeowner's insurance would cover that anyways.
Okay,
if you've got people in your house for a birthday party, coming over just to hang out or anything like that, the liability is going to cover that.
Okay.
Now, you can't be liable to yourself. So if you're falling in your house, that's not going to be covered.
Darn it.
A lot of people don't know that.
I mean, I am a liability in my own home.
Yes.
But I get it. I get it. My insurance coverage would be very expensive if that was part of it.
Yes, I'm very clumsy.
So homeowners insurance, what do most people need to, like, let's say you just want bare bones, help me stay safe in my home in case of storms, very, very prevalent here in Central Texas, hail damage, things like that. What would be like a bare bones policy that you would recommend to somebody?
So there's different, tiers. You can really beef up a homeowner's policy depending on what you want covered, or you can, just have a basic policy. It's going to cover the basic things like wind, hail, tornado, theft, things like that. But if you're worried about things like water damage, water backup, weight of ice, sleet, or snow, which we don't worry about here that often, but hail's the main thing, and that's covered in a basic policy.
Okay.
But there's water seepage and leakage. That's a big one. If you've got a leak in the wall and it's caused thousands of dollars worth of damage, a lot of companies don't cover that.
Really?
Unless you add it.
Okay.
Or they may not cover it at all. So, what's important to you there, even refrigerated food products. Last year when the ice storm came through, a lot of people lost their food and they didn't have coverage for that. So that is something that some companies cover.
I wouldn't even think of that. I wouldn't even think of cover the food that I have in my fridge.
Yeah, so it would cover, up to $500, up to $1,000, depending on what you wanted. There's also coverage called equipment breakdown, so that's going to cover some of your appliances, AC unit. Doesn't work necessarily like a home warranty,
that was my question.
But it is going to cover certain things that the insurance wouldn't, like hail, windstorm.
Okay.
It's going to cover some, failure to the appliance or AC unit.
But not necessarily a manufacturing fail, more like something exterior
mechanical breakdown,
to it. Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
And it's a lower deductible. So, and most of the time, that's only $2 a month. Like, it's very inexpensive.
That is nothing.
So I give, clients that option, but they don't have to take it. There's so many things you can add on.
Okay. And what are you seeing as like an average homeowner's policy?
Premium wise?
Like annually. Yeah.
So that's one thing. In the Waco area, if you lived in town, because where you live does affect it, how far you are from the fire department or a fire hydrant, because that house could burn quicker than one that was, a mile from the fire department.
Right.
So that affects it. If you live in town, I used to could rent a home for $1,000, $1,200 a year, but now that's looking like $1,400, $1,600 because the cost of homes have gone up and the cost of insurance has gone up. If you live outside of town, you may be paying $3,000 a year, depending on your home size, the material, your exposure,
acreage, access.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's good, especially for if you're listening out of town. Something about Texas that did shock me, because I came from an area where house prices were ridiculous.
Yes.
But our homeowners insurance was half what I pay here. But there's a lot more affecting things here, I think. Weather-wise, definitely.
Yes.
There's a big difference. And so that was a little bit of a shock to us buying a home. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to double that. Okay, done. But there's a lot more that we're protected from that happens out here that we didn't have to deal with previously.
Yeah, they probably excluded a lot of things because they didn't want that risk. So they don't do that here as much. It's going to cover a lot more things. But I just drew a blank.
You're fine.
What I was going to say.
You're okay. So like another state versus Texas, it's just higher because there's more going on here.
Yeah, there's
weather-wise.
A lot of hailstorms, rain, not necessarily flooding because that's a separate policy, but things like that. It's mainly hail. There's
and that's a good point
and
too.
Water claims.
Yeah, water claims being like burst pipes in your home, or a dishwasher breaks down and water leaks everywhere, or your 12-year-old does, your laundry and the washing machine leaks all over. So, but that's different. That's water intrusion from inside the home, which would be covered, right?
Yeah, so that would be, if you had coverage for that, that would be a separate coverage. It wouldn't be considered water from weather related.
Right.
If you've got rain coming in through the roof or anything like that.
Okay.
But hot water heaters, we see that the most.
Really?
It's a water heater,
It's people do that all the time. Well, it's a water heater.
It's a water heater.
Everybody calls it a hot water heater, though.
Say hot water heater.
Nope, that is everywhere. I hear that all the time. Hot water heater.
So those are the things that we see the most that people need to look out for.
Water heaters.
Water coverage, like hail,
exploding.
Is your roof covered? The age of your roof has a lot to do with your insurance premium as well. If your roof's 15, 20 years old, they may not even cover it.
Yeah.
They want you to replace it, even if it is in good condition.
Okay. What else? You had wanted to talk about kind of how rates are increasing and what you can do to help. Like, I know you're different. So like you versus, I don't know, a farm bureau, would that be?
Like a captive agency, a state farm, a farm bureau, farmers. So they are specific to that company. So they can only use that company for insurance.
And only what that company offers product-wise.
Yes.
Right.
So they don't offer some of the coverages that other companies do. So you're limited on what's included or what's covered. But as an independent agent, having over 15 companies, we can put in your information, what coverages you want, run the rates, and see who has the best rate for you.
Okay.
Which may not be the best rate for someone else because they have so many factors in there. I saw actually on Facebook yesterday, someone was asking about auto insurance. And she said, what companies do you guys use? And I said, well, that's hard to say. One company may give you a rate here and you may get a better rate with this company. It's not across the board. No two are the same. You can't say, well, I pay $1,200 a year for my home insurance and it's the same size as Susie's house.
Right.
It's brick. I live next door, but hers is $1,800. It's different across the board. Credit plays a factor, a claims history.
The claims history, does that stay with the person or does it stays with the home?
It stays with the home.
Right. Okay.
But you're not that's not counted on you because you didn't file that claim.
Right.
So it is going to follow the other homeowner, but we're going to be able to see, okay, this roof was replaced in 2018. There was hail here. So that gives us an idea of how old the roof is as well.
Yeah.
And if they repaired it.
Okay. And then you mentioned auto. So as an independent, can you pull well, this makes sense over here. I'm going to use this company for their auto insurance, but I'm going to bundle it with a whole different company for their home insurance and save money for people that way?
So I run it both ways.
Okay.
I try to get a multi-policy discount because some companies it is quite a bit.
Okay.
But if you're saving so much money with this company for your auto and in their home over here is a lot cheaper, it's best to split them sometimes.
Okay.
And a lot of agents tell you, hey, let's bundle it and get the most out of it, but that's not always the case.
That's not always the money saver.
No.
I'm all about saving money.
Yeah. So with an independent agent, you may have, your auto with Progressive and your home with Travelers, but I would still be your agent and your contact for both of those. You would contact me directly to take care of anything.
So then I would call you, Krystal, and be like, my kid threw a baseball and my window's broken.
Yes.
And you would be the one to be like, I got you.
We can help you file the claim and see you through the process. Of course.
That is so helpful too, because filing a claim is a pain in the booty.
Yes. And claims doesn't always follow up like your agent would.
Right.
They get behind. It may take them one or 2 days to even call you back. So we kind of stay on them there too and make sure that you're getting taken care of.
Which is helpful.
Agent. Yeah. We're kind of the middleman to communicate to the client if they don't understand something or maybe an adjuster hasn't contacted them yet. So that is helpful.
That's super helpful. That's like headache saving. So not only am I saving money, you're also saving my headache.
Yes.
So working with you is a lot more efficient too, right? Because I can just be like, one-stop shop, Krystal, this is what I've got. I need to cover this, 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 and this.
Yes, and I know a lot of clients these days use text, and people reach out to me on Facebook.
Yeah.
I try to, communicate whatever is easier for them. People work during the day. They can't always pick up the phone and call. So I think that's helpful too, is just being available to communicate however is easier for the client.
So you're saying like even outside of your typical business hours, like if something crazy were to happen, you're accessible to an extent.
Yes, they can call. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to tell people to call you all day, every day, but like if that emergency, the baseball through the window came up, I could call you at 7:00 at night.
Yes. Okay. I'm always available.
Good. That is excellent.
Not always, but I mean, if it is an emergency, I'll call you back.
Fairly accessible.
Yes, fairly accessible.
That's fair. What else? Oh, renter's insurance. I know that we have had a conversation about this before. God, so long ago. We were like eating lunch at Slow Rise, I think. And we talked about, how people don't really consider it.
Yes.
And it is so helpful because the homeowner is covered.
Yes.
For their, the home and the property. Mm-hmm. But all of your stuff inside as a renter, you're kind of SOL if something happens, right?
Yeah, it's not covered. I am seeing an increase in renter's insurance.
That's
because
good.
It does give you a discount on your auto insurance if you can combine it.
Okay.
And it gives you a pretty good discount too. I mean, most renters policies are less than $50 a month, and $50 is on the high end. I would say 20 to 30.
That's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing, especially when you think of the cost of all of your belongings. I mean, that's clothes. Right. Sometimes it's appliances. If you've brought your own appliances, that's a major expense. Electronics, even the small things you don't think about, like Q-tips and condiments in the refrigerator, and
getting everything back that you lost if something were to happen.
Yes, all the small things that adds up quickly. And if that house catches fire, and none of your stuff is covered.
Oh man. Yeah,
so
we've
seen
that in China Spring this year. We've had a couple house fires, which has been just heartbreaking. So which prompts my next question. One of them was lightning.
That is covered.
Look at that. That is where I was going.
Yes. So if your house, lightning strikes your house and it causes the fire, that is covered.
Okay. Okay. So backing up. So renter's insurance, I really, really like, because I know not everybody listening is going to be a homeowner. And I think it's super overlooked and very important to consider having renter's insurance. So I love that you said it was how much? Like on the high
average,
end.
On high end, $50 a month,
which is still
depending
nothing.
on how much stuff you have, how much you want to cover. And renters for college students as well.
Okay.
I don't think people think about that. They can cover their belongings in a dorm.
I would think that would be covered by the school. It's not.
No.
So you need your own personal policy.
Yes.
And you'd be considered a renter even in a dorm.
Yes.
Oh.
Even if you live, let's say a adult child lives with their parent, their stuff with some companies is not considered covered. So
because
they
they're
could
adults?
Have a renters. Yes. Or if you live in your parents' house, maybe you're renting it from them, or not paying anything necessarily for the rent, but you're staying there. Your stuff may not be covered because you're not the homeowner.
Huh. Okay. That's good to know. The little this is why I talk to you about these things, because these are the things I wouldn't even think about.
Yes, because most people think that would be covered. Well, I'm living in my parents' house.
Right. I'm their kid.
They own the house, but you're an adult, so you're considered a tenant.
Yeah.
You're not the homeowner.
You're no longer, yeah. Wow. Sever that tie real quick.
Yes.
All right. What do you think is super important for people to know about insurance in general?
I would say just make sure you have the right coverages. Like I said, having an agent that can go over that with you. They should be going over that with you. Ask the questions, because if you have a claim and it's not covered, that could cost you thousands of dollars.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So you'd like to know up front what's covered and what's not. You even ask them what's not covered, so that you can expect, plan for that and save the money if you need to repair something.
And then if it's not covered, is there a possibility they have like a supplemental something or other rider that they can add on, or is some stuff just not covered?
Yeah, some stuff is just not covered. It just depends on what it is. I mean, if it's a maintenance issue in the house that that you're just not doing, that's probably not going to be covered.
Okay.
You're still required to maintain the house and do the upkeep. And
so like if you haven't changed your air filter in 18 months and randomly your air conditioner stops working well,
that's going to be what I'd like to call a user error. It was on
so
your end.
It's gonna fall on me.
Yes. So most people think that insurance covers everything.
No matter what.
And then you hear the response, what do I pay for?
Oh, yeah.
But they can't, cover absolutely everything.
Okay.
There are all risk policies that do cover more than a named peril policy.
You're saying words I don't get.
Yes, so I'm going to explain that. A named peril policy would say, okay, we're going to cover wind, hail, fire, lightning, water backup.
Okay.
Just an example. That's all we're going to cover. An all risk policy would cover more things and just tell you what they're excluding.
Okay.
They're going to cover more things than just that. Like, I know one company, if your TV falls off the wall and breaks, it would be covered.
Wow.
Another policy wouldn't cover that because it wasn't weather related.
Okay.
So knowing what type of policy you have as well.
Okay. Which again, just brings me back to why it's important to have an agent.
Yes.
Because there's so many things like, and I dabble in or have to deal with insurance like in a very small part of my business, not a huge part of my personal life either. Like, this is going to sound so 1950s, but my husband does that.
Yes.
And so, it's not something that I have to dig into very deeply. And so knowing that, we can call you directly and ask these questions is like relax and comforting.
Yes.
It helps me to be like, whew, I'm just going to call Krystal.
And you would not believe the questions that
I would.
that I would.
Give me some good ones. Give me your craziest question recently.
Oh gosh, you put me on the spot.
Well, you brought it up, lady. Here we go. I'll tell you some crazy stories. I've got some.
I mean, something like my dog chewed my window. Is that covered? Things like that.
See, you say that's crazy, but that is totally relatable.
It depends on the type of policy you have. And
okay.
It's your dog. So
what if it's a German Shepherd puppy?
I don't. Yes, you have a German Shepherd. I mean, and in that case, too, sometimes it's cheaper to fix it yourself than file a claim.
Right.
Because maybe it doesn't exceed the deductible.
Well, and I bring up our sweet little Ruger because he's German Shepherd, and typically they're like on the no list overall, aren't they?
Yes, that's a good point.
So I was like, eek.
Because there are companies that ask, do you have dogs?
Mm-hmm.
What type of breed are they?
Mm-hmm.
And they do not like, I have one company specifically that does not like certain dog breeds, and they will not do it.
Which is so silly. He's sweet. He just likes to eat the door jam.
Theirs are more pit bulls, German Shepherds, Chow mix, things like that.
Dobermans.
Yeah.
Rotties. All the dogs I love.
Yeah.
They just have a bad reputation, man. Okay, so that's your craziest story.
No, probably not my craziest.
Probably the most shareable.
I'd have to think about this and share it with you.
That's fine. You can text me later.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to know Krystal's craziest story, just reach out. What is the best place to reach you? I know you said that you like to reach people where it's easiest, but what's the best way to get a hold of you?
So, of course, they can call me. I use my personal cell phone a lot because I just always have it on me, and I just want to be available. So, text, call. I get people messaging me on Facebook.
Okay.
So
how do we follow
email.
You on like Facebook?
We do have a Facebook page, Harper INS Agency, and we post quite a bit on there. Sometimes we do giveaways, or if companies are offering discounts for anything, I like to share that, or just informational things, little things you can read.
Oh yeah. Well, you give good little tidbits every once in a while. I'm like, oh,
I know insurance isn't the most exciting thing, but it is helpful to read those sometimes.
It is. And I like, sometimes it's about saving money too. Like I've said it a couple times, but 4 kids and 100 dogs, like saving money is huge in our house. So
yeah, and with
you
the
give
cost
good tips.
Of, everything going up, you need to save where you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say that's something as an independent agent that we can do. I had a client the other day she had been with the same company for 10 years on her home insurance. And I knew that she was paying too much. I knew it. The area, she lived in town. It was just a brick home, and I did cut it in half for her.
Good gracious.
And she was with, a company that I use as well. And when I ran it with them, it was half the price too. So, every year they had just gone up on her. And eventually you have to switch. You have to shop
nobody
around.
takes the time. Obviously, at that company, they're not going to be like, let's look at Judy's policy and make sure that she's not getting overcharged. They're like, it is what it is.
And it's never going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to give you a huge discount. So steadily over 10 years, it had gone up to where she was paying over $3,000 a year. Yeah.
Oh
when I saw it, I was like, I know I can get this, get a better rate for you. I know
that's ridiculous.
And when I did, she said, this is too good to be true. Is this real? And I said, yes, you've just been overpaying for 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe in the beginning she wasn't.
Right.
Over time. So a lot of people are loyal to the companies they're with.
Right. Yeah.
But it's never going to get any cheaper. So, I mean, I definitely think you should shop around at least every 2 years.
Okay.
At 2-3 years. And an independent agent can do that for you.
I was just going to say, is that something I would be like, hey, Krystal, it's been 3 years. Can you take a look?
Well, actually, what I like to do is, let's say I wrote your home insurance last year, and this year it's coming up for renewal. It's time to look at it again. And they had a 20% rate increase. So your premium went up.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, hey, this is a lot. Let's shop it. Let's see if we can find you something better. And usually I can.
Okay. Are
If
there
I
any
can't-
cons to shopping it? Like, does it hit my credit? Does it hit?
It's a soft hit.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect your actual credit score. But some companies do give loyalty discounts, but sometimes it's so much cheaper to switch that that discount's not going to matter.
Okay.
I mean, they're not going to give you enough of a discount to stay there, to be loyal to that company. It's just such a price difference sometimes.
It's like a pat on the head.
But then I can remain your agent, and you still have good coverage, and
we still have you on the other end of the phone when we need to file a claim.
You may have a different company, and all of the companies I work with are A-rated. They're good companies.
Okay.
They handle claims well. So, they're national companies. I know a lot of people think independent agents work for these small, non-standard companies that don't have very good coverage, but that is not the case.
So who do you work with? I know you mentioned like 15 or so. You don't have to name them all, but
so I'd probably say the biggest ones in this area that are here in Waco area that are competitive are Safeco, State Auto. They don't just do auto insurance; they do home. They're great for farm and ranch.
Oh,
they do commercial as well. So we write with Progressive, Travelers, Nationwide, Allstate. Mercury is a good one. They're not a huge company. They like specific type of client, but if you fit in that category, they have very good rates.
Okay. So these are all, like you said, national, but not just that, but like strong reputation, A-rated companies that you go to.
Yeah, they're financially stable companies.
Okay. All right. So now I'm going to put you on the spot again, but I warned you on the phone that I was going to do this. So Krystal lives in Clifton, which is
I live in Valley Mills.
You live in Valley Mills.
Yes.
Work out of Clifton.
Yes.
Which is beautiful. Both of those areas. But I like to hear what people love about Waco.
See, I grew up in Clifton, so we would come to Waco, every Sunday for church.
Okay.
We would grocery shop.
You came all the way in town to go to church?
Yes. So it's about 35 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's
I say
just
all
what
the
we
way,
did.
but it's not that bad.
We went to the grocery store. We went to the mall, the movie theater. There's hardly anything in Clifton. And then, I lived in Waco for 10 years until a couple of years ago. And I just like how centrally located it is. You can be in Dallas in an hour and a half. You can be in Fort Worth. You can be in Austin. But Waco is also small. It has a small town feel, but you still have all of the things that you enjoy, main event, Top Golf, shopping, restaurants, and it just keeps growing.
It does.
And now in Valley Mills, I'm only 20 minutes away. So I can come to Waco, pick up my groceries, and be back home within an hour.
Which I think people that's why I'm laughing at myself for saying all the way into town. It's really not that bad. Yes. And please, people who aren't in the area or don't live in Central Texas, when we say it's a 35-minute drive, you're literally at pretty much the same speed from point A to point B.
It's all highway.
Yeah, there's no brake lights. It's not frustrating. It's actually a really pretty drive. Do you take Highway 6 in?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really pretty drive. I'm Googling right now, so give me a sec, because to me it's funny. You mentioned, the community feel of Waco. Yeah, so Waco, it's over 140,000 people. Mm-hmm. And the city we moved from was roughly the same, like 180, I think. And you wouldn't know anybody. I could walk through downtown or the most popular spots and not see a single person I know. But in Waco,
it's everyone's connected.
Yes.
Susie knows Judy, and you know Judy through the church, and Judy mm-hmm. knows so-and-so that you met at a party. Mm-hmm. So everyone just knows each other. And,
yes.
and I love that.
You know what I hear a lot also is, oh, that's my cousin.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
I feel like that's me. Everyone is my cousin, it seems like.
That's how I feel. There's an agent, Katie Crosswhite, at our company. And she's like, oh, I think I'm related to them.
I used to get that a lot when I was in school. They're like, everyone is your cousin. And I'm like, this is where our family lives. We're
right.
just all in this area.
But I think that says a lot about Waco too. People don't leave.
Yeah. I mean,
or if they do, they come back.
Yes.
For sure.
I had a teacher in high school that said Clifton, not necessarily Waco, was mm-hmm. the center of the universe. It's Central Texas, and it just sucks you back in. And I said, I'll never move back to Clifton, and here I am, but
technically.
So yes, Valley Mills. I'm basically in a suburb of Waco now.
Right.
I love that about Waco too, is there's so many small towns around. I guess you can consider them towns.
Yeah.
And you can go to different school districts and still be 10 minutes away from town and have access to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Because I used to live in Robinson.
Okay.
And I could be at the mall in 10 minutes.
Girl,
so I loved that. That's before it got really big. That was a few years ago.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You drive like I drive. Very cool. Is there anything about insurance that we have left out that you really want to mention?
Oh, goodness. There's a lot of things about insurance. I think we hit on some good points.
You feel good?
Yeah.
And if anybody has any questions, I'll put in the show notes the best way to contact you through your Facebook page, your cell phone, email. And so if they have any questions, it'll be really easy to get in touch with you. You respond really quickly. I know that personally.
I always have my phone on me.
Right. I know.
I just can't help it. I don't like to make people wait.
Aw.
And I do have people ask me questions. I don't have to. I'm not their agent, but if they have a question, I don't mind helping them.
Okay. You are a wealth of knowledge. I always learn something new from you when we talk about this stuff. So I just really appreciate you coming down.
Well, I appreciate you having me. Yeah.
No, it's been fun. Are you going to go hang out in Waco now?
I actually have to make some returns back to the store. I'm addicted to shopping online, but that doesn't always work out.
Not always.
No.
But that's okay. You guys get to have fun. You try out some of the new spots downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you, everybody. That was Krystal Harper with Harper Insurance Agency. We will talk to you soon. Do you have a topic you want to talk about? Do you have questions about Waco, the real estate market, how to sell your house, what to look for when you're buying a home? Send me an email, ericasellstexas@gmail.com. Shoot me a text, 254-447-0180. Happy to chat about it. Find me anywhere you listen to your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.